Let's get some analysis now on this story. We are now joined via Zoom by political analyst Khanyi Mgubane on political developments in KwaZulu-Natal. Khanyi, a good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Your reaction watching the swearing in of the new Premier?
Well, Naledi, there's no doubt that the winds of change have blown through KZN, and today's swearing in of Nomusa Duwengube was historic, as you mentioned earlier on, because she is the very first Premier to be sworn in during Women's Month, and it's a very strong message that the new ANC movement is sending just in terms of their commitment to gender equality as far as political representation is concerned. We know that for the longest time, female candidates have deputized a lot of key positions, and we've seen even in the new leadership, we've got the deputy chairperson Mgubane being the deputy chairperson of the province in the ANC. And so I think today's appointment was not a surprise. She has been the forerunner for quite some time. Almost immediately after Zigalala resigned, her name was put forward along with other candidates. And I think today's occasion can definitely be one for the books, not just for the ANC, but historically in South Africa, the first Premier of a province to lead, taking over a male candidate. And all eyes are on Nomusa. There's definitely no doubt. She has been called the Queen of the Throne. She's been called the Woman of the Hour. And we are hoping that for the next 2 or so years until 2024, she will maintain that momentum in terms of what she achieves in those 24 or so months that she is in that position.
Yeah, it's not an easy job, though, that she's taken on, is it, Khanyi? Because many challenges that face her over the next few years, what do you think some of those really are?
We can look at them from a number of levels. We can look within a movement and generally within the province of KZN. One of the most important things that she has to look at is the issue of reconstruction provincially following the devastation of the floods. We've seen quite a number of families left destitute, being thrown out of areas where they were housed temporarily, and we've seen a lot of damage to roads and houses. Infrastructure development, I would definitely put right at the top, and also generally increasing the level of employment in the province by bolstering a number of industries that have been rendered dormant by the recent COVID pandemic, especially in tourism, in sectors such as agriculture as well. Those, I think, in the province definitely need to be looked at. And politically, we know that the ANC has suffered a number of heavy blows in terms of its performance in the elections. I think that Nomusa Duwe's appointment should be one that starts to paint a new picture in people's eyes as far as the ANC is concerned. And I think that if they can continue in this particular path that they've started on, the new leadership, we may just see the ANC even performing better in the upcoming elections because of the good performance of Nomusa, even though she is picking up midterm from where Zigalala left off, meaning that she won't really have much time to implement many of her own programs. She's simply ensuring that what was started during the tenure of Zigalala is completed and that the ANC has a good report by the time she comes out of office. And well, we'll see if she continues after the elections, but at least in the interim, I think her main position is to ensure completion of the projects that Zigalala and his cabinet started.
Any time that we talk about a woman taking on a position of power, there very often is the question around whether or not this is cosmetic transformation that we are seeing. Do you have that concern?
Not at all. She's a seasoned government official. She is also a former diplomat to the Czech Republic. She was finance MEC. She was economic development and tourism MEC beforehand. She was the mayor of the eThekwini municipality when it was still the eThekwini North Council. So she's been in government for quite a number of years, having served under 4 premiers. So in terms of her stature and her ability and experience, she definitely definitely does have that. But what I am concerned about, Naledi, if we look at the case of Uzandile Kumete, the former mayor of eThekwini, I am, always skeptical to say that, big positions come with big expectations from those who've put people in those positions. And I'm definitely hoping that Nomusa Dube-Ncube is not going to fall under the same pressure as Zandile Kumete did. We know that she's currently embroiled in a high-profile corruption trial with 21 other people regarding a tender to the value of 350 million. And for the longest time, she seems to have purported that she signed all the documents and all the, the processes that enabled that to happen under duress. And so I really want the comrades, and I plead with them not to compromise women in leadership, because we don't want to have a pattern developing that once a woman goes into power, then she becomes susceptible and an easier target for corruption to take place and for certain tenders to be awarded because she feels indebted to certain individuals who've put her in that position.
Earlier I asked you the challenges that you think the new premier is going to face, and you started with some of the economic challenges that KwaZulu-Natal then faces. What then do you think we should, we can read into the resignation of the MEC for KZN's Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Ravi Pillay?
Well, Ravi Pillay is a Sihle Zikalala staunch supporter, and he left after Sihle resigned, and he cited discussions that he had with the ANC. He was not quite specific what the contents of those discussions were, but his departure now poses new opportunities for Nomusa Dube-Ncube to appoint new people to those positions. I don't think we should read more into it, more than the fact that Sihle is living with his closest allies, especially in the form of Ravi Pillay. And we may even see a new cabinet coming in. A new cabinet reshuffle is not something that's completely out of the cards. The premier does have the right to reshuffle their cabinet and put new people to various positions. I'm hoping that the new cabinet will not be shaken up too much if there is a reshuffle, but that they will simply appoint a new MEC in the position of Ravi Pillay, or they may have a greater appetite to see a newer face throughout the cabinet. Now, Lady, we'll see moving forward. She's just been inaugurated today. Let's see what she has in her bag of tricks for the KZN provincial leadership moving forward.
And see, we'll be watching closely. Khanyi, thank you so much for your valuable input there. Political analyst Khanyi Mgubane speaking to us.